Hi, this is Saintus. Welcome back to Forge of Empires. It is episode 3 of the basic series in this channel, and today it is about goods. So, goods are one of the most important resources in the game. You are pretty much always in the need of goods and also producing goods in your city. But why is it that you need goods in the first place? Well, the thing that everybody will always have to go through is the tech tree. So, everyone has the same tech tree, of course, and in every single age you'll have to pay goods. So you have, for example, here Martian microbes, lubricants for the space age Mars. If I hop onto another age, for example, in another technology, as you can see nanoparticles, superconductors from the future era, and this just happens throughout the entire tech tree. You might also be in some missions that require you to pay some goods, or you have decided somehow that you want to pay goods instead of fighting in the campaign mapped sectors in every province, for example, or maybe even negotiating instead of fighting as well for the exploration sites. But the other main way that people find themselves spending goods at is through negotiating in the guild expedition or guild battlegrounds. Now, both are not the main way of progressing through the guild expedition or guild battlegrounds, but if you find yourself running out of units or just having an army that's no longer strong enough, then negotiating might be a way of you extending that progress. But then you might ask yourself the question, well, how many goods are there? Well, if you have played the game, then you obviously know that there are tons and tons of goods. There are, for example, I believe a total of 18 ages, and there's always 5 goods per age, which means that in total we have 90 different goods. Now, if you're interested in historical accuracy, some of them are accurate, others are not. That's not the point here. The thing is that every age will have just 5 goods ready for you to earn and spend. Simple as that. And so, how do you earn those goods? Well, there are a few main ways. Well, the first one is production buildings. And this is the one that's just a little bit more complex. So, every age, because you have 5 goods, you'll also have 5 production buildings. As you can see here, the list just goes on and on with also 90 goods buildings. Actually more than that, but that's because it's space age. Once you have built those buildings in your city, usually you have to pay coins and supplies, always in the same amount by the way, in order to make those goods, and you have 4 different options, which are either a 4-hour, an 8-hour, a 1-day production, or a 2-day production. Now the most efficient options are the 4 and 8 hours. They have the same efficiency, and most people that try to be efficient use the 8-hour option twice plus a 4-hour option. The amount of goods that each building makes for each option is 1 good for the 4-hour, 2 for the 8-hour, 4 for the 1-day, and 6 goods for the 2-day option. However, this is the base production, and it's actually very inefficient. So Forge of Empires does have deposits. Now deposits are found in provinces in every age, and all the way up until the progressive era you have 2 deposits per age in your content map. For example, if I go over here to the older one, you can see that, for example, for the Bronze Age provinces you have those 2 deposits here. For the Iron Age they are over here up in the top, and it just keeps going and going all the way up to the progressive era. Once you've reached the modern era, however, goods buildings now work in a different way. Instead of also requiring coins and supplies, they will now also ask you for goods of 3 ages behind you in order to make what they call refined goods. And so this means that goods buildings from the modern era will now ask you for goods from the colonial era. And every time you move up an age, the goods required for the goods buildings will also go up 1 age. But in that case, how are the deposits affected by that change? Now, instead of earning 2 deposits for that particular age, you'll earn 1 deposit for the unrefined goods, and you'll also earn 1 extra deposit for the goods of your age. Which also means that the deposits now, instead of being solely related with modern era in this case, for example, they are the deposits from the Bronze Age, which is really weird. I have no idea why they've done that, and this is actually going to cause some overlap, as we'll see later on. But anyway, this means that you continue all the way up to the future era with 3 goods deposits instead. But once you reach the Arctic future, the base deposits for the goods of the Arctic future are now from the colonial age. And if you've noticed, you now have 1 deposit here in the Arctic future continent, plus 1 deposit in the modern era continent, and 2 deposits for the colonial era from the old continent, which means that now in the Arctic future, plus the oceanic future and the virtual future, you'll have 4 goods deposits. However, once you reach the space ages, In this case, they have decided to completely reset everything, and you start again with 2 deposits per age, fortunately. As for the production requirements, they still cost the same amount of coins and supplies. Now, obviously, it's a lot more than in the beginning, but you also need to spend special goods from Space Age Mars and Space Age Asteroid Belt for each age, but this is something that I'll be talking on another video. The other way, and this is the main way that players earn rewards, because it is very easy to just scale up this production of goods, which is event buildings. Pretty much every single event building that comes out, whether it offers you a great amount of forge points or the one that everybody goes for military bonus, they'll still offer you goods, and over time your city will just be filled with event buildings, which just ends up making hundreds of goods every day. For example, my city, if I go over here into the FOE helper box, it tells me that I make about 188 goods every day for Space Age Asteroid Belt, for example. Just so you know, the best event buildings regarding goods production is the Slay Builder. It produces 15 goods in a 6-tile space. It is very tightly packed, and you can usually earn a lot of them in a single event. Also, as you know, the way that event buildings work is that they'll produce age from the age that they are currently on. The third way of earning goods is grid buildings. There are a list of a few grid buildings in this game that produce goods, but the majority of them don't have enough features beyond making goods. The few ones that are somewhat worth it are, for example, the Lighthouse, but that's really for early players. The Royal Albert Hall might interest you as well. And the other one that's still worth it, but also makes goods, is the Rainforest Project, because it gives you a boost in blueprint earnings by motivating people, and it also makes goods. And the final main way that you can earn goods is rewards. So I'll just pop in here into the statistics section. In FOE Helper and here in the rewards section, you have every rewards that you can earn. For example, in the Guild Expedition, besides blueprints, for example, you can also earn goods here, plus the Guild Battlegrounds, and yes, even though forge points and fragments are the main things, are most of what you earn, there are also room for goods to be earned. In every event building, the same thing happens, and you also have Spoils of War, which instead of gifting you with a quantity of a specific good of your age, it gives you, for example, in here 125 of all of the goods of your age. And finally, you have diplomatic gifts, which work the same way as Spoils of War. I've made a video about that if you want to know, but the crate building itself, for me, is definitely not worth it. And that's pretty much all you need to know about goods, maybe a little bit too much. However, you also have guild goods. So these are goods that once you've earned them, they are directly deposited onto the treasury of your guild. And how do you earn those goods? Well, it's a lot easier. There are only 2 ways, which are special buildings and grid buildings. As for the special buildings, one of them, for example, is Statue of Honor. As you can see, it gives my guild 80 goods, and it's always of your current age. And as for the grid buildings that donate goods to your guild's treasury, there are only 3, which are the Observatory, the Atomium that I don't have in here because it's really not that good besides giving goods for your guild. But obviously the main way that most players will be earning guild goods, it is the arc. Basically every arc is at such a high level that it just gives so many more goods than any other grid building. And so that's all you need to know about goods in Forge of Empires. I hope you liked it and I'll see you next time.